You bring an arts on a social media, maybe online, and AI do it on high accuracy and good than your hands. And now we can ask yourself, am I going to compete with AI in creating these visual arts? And of course, as a human, be like, no, I'm no longer going to, to market my things online, because now copyright from AI is, because like AI now is copying everyone without any consent. Because AI doesn't ask us consent not to ask him if it's allowed. And yes, we can still asking ourselves, how are we going now to deal with that? And yes, first of all, we need to sell our products online. And AI is there waiting for us. Bring your things, I copy, I make it better than you. I know it sounds challenge, but how do you think we can overcome this way?
Well, I think it's kind of the question right now that I think like AI is becoming like a larger and larger like resource that people are using and is becoming a larger part of like day-to-day life. But I always think about like something that like my old history teacher said to me. Not to me, but to our like class.
The class, yeah.
Yeah, and she was saying that like when we're doing all of these readings and we're supposed to understand like the nuances of humanity, that if you were to like type in to AI, like create a hand, like the hand that would come out from AI would be like really warped and funny. Like she was like, sometimes it'll have like 6 fingers, or it'll be like different shapes. And she was like, it's because like hands come in all different forms, and it's like in all different shapes and forms in different positions. So anytime I kind of think about like AI, and like especially when it comes to like art, is that like there's a lot of like imperfection that creates perfection in art, and there's a lot of beauty in the humanity and like the artistic like style that
the world is watching. Technology is changing the way we create, explore, and do businesses. From AI-driven arts to the virtual tourism, from culture NFTs to digital entrepreneurship, Africa is not behind. Africa is leading. And of course, here we are to talk about it. Welcome to the TechSphere podcast, the place where tech meets art, tourism, culture, and business. Join the conversation, join the revolution, join us. This is for Africa, and here we are. Let's make it happen again. Alright, it's always beautiful moment, and it's always vibes. What we call TechSphere, it's all about technology, talks about arts, culture, tourism, and business. How are you? Is everyone there feeling good? Is everywhere feeling so grateful? I am in Rwanda, but you might be in across of Africa, Europe, Asia, or even United States. Oh, by the way, South America. Hello, Latino. So this is Ismail Papi Muhinda, and of course I'm the host of this very amazing podcast which called TechSphere Podcast, produced by iSmart House. And yes, we are here to talk about technology, but close in different aspects. It's going to be in arts, it's going to be in technology, it's going to be in tourism, it's going to be in heritages. But yes, we talk about technology. Yes, and if we talk about the technology, we might be thinking about AI, artificial intelligence. So AI is now driving the world, across the world. But what if we start to break it's in arts? But what if else it's gonna be a very barrier for the career guidance, especially in artistic freedoms. Yes, I'm with McBride or Debbie. She's from United States of America, and of course from a bright city, New York. Hello, but how are you?
I'm good.
New
How
York
are you?
to Rwanda to Kigali. How is the journey? How was the journey?
It was good. A few delays. I was put in a Belgian waiting cell, but we made it.
We made it to Kigali. So first, is your first time to reach in Kigali, right? Especially in Africa, right? Please elaborate it. How is it? Climate to food to culture.
I love it. So far, I've been here this is the beginning of my 3rd week. I'm here for 2 months. And I love the people. Everyone's so kind. I love the food. The weather's beautiful.
Wow. Is any kind of food did you firstly enjoy it?
I really liked green bananas.
Green bananas.
Mr. Kennedy loves them, and we got
How about
them.
chai?
I haven't.
Tasted? Like tea?
Yes.
The African tea.
I love African tea, and then the corn.
Wow.
I really like
Wow. So yes, you are in Kigali, Rwanda, and of course you are at Ikilenga Art and Culture Promotion. This is a very big house which really promotes art and culture, even tourism across Africa, not even in Rwanda, but also it promotes youth generally, from women to different perspective. But yes, why can I ask that question? Why are you, or why have you found yourself at Ikirenga? How did you find yourself there?
So I'm really interested in art as a form of social change, and I'm at a university in the United States, and I got a scholarship to basically do an internship internationally wherever you want to. And I've always wanted to come to Kigali. So I ended up reaching out to quite a few different prominent art organizations in Kigali, and here I am.
Here you are.
Here I am.
And you say that you always wanted to come to Kigali. Have you heard about that Kigali, or did you maybe explore something to come to Kigali?
Yes, I have been reading about Rwanda for years, and I've heard, I had a dear friend who came a few years ago, and she was like, it's just the most beautiful city.
Wow.
And I'd wanted to come since.
Wow. So, and like enough, you're here in Kigali. Yes, of course, you are in Kigali, and welcome to Kigali, by the way. And the very clean city, very beautiful people, smiling. We see everything, we smile, right?
Yes.
You like that? Smiling, right? I do hope so. So, yes, you did, you're one of a student of global social globalizations, and of course when it comes to the arts, we deal with that, the social changes. So how do you think your career can pursue or can be integrated in artistic way?
Well, I'm at UNC Chapel Hill in North Carolina, which is where I go to school. I'm a rising junior. I'm studying global health and human rights, and I think something really beautiful about art is its way to be integrated into pretty much any social issue or any topic. I mean, you see the intersection of math and art. You see the intersection of history and art. So I think especially now with global attacks on public health, I think there is more of a prominent need for art as a form of activism across different fields. So I've been doing art since I was young, but I think it's really beautiful to be able to travel to a lot of different galleries here and see different artists' creations over the years.
Wow. When you say about creation and arts, it's always merging, but we can't forget that AI is now being integrated. That's why I wanted to head. Yes, creation, but AI now is touching over and over. Are you seeing it as one of the a pushing way, or maybe a significant tool to the artist, or maybe it's come to challenge us till we die over in the sea? Maybe you're going to be lost in city. I don't know. How do you really arrange that in a simple answer?
So I definitely would say I'm not qualified to speak on the proliferation of AI in art, but when coming here, part of the project that Mr. Pierre and Mr. Kennedy asked me to do was to look at unauthorized usage of artists' work and piracy, and also then AI usage in copying of art. So that is something that I'm part of the project I'm looking at here, and it's been really interesting to research different ways that technology can be can be used to basically create a glaze over art, so it can't be reprinted and redistributed or like remade via AI. But like specifically talking about its like proliferation, I don't think I could speak to that. According to our organization, it's like one of the one of the larger struggles that artists are facing when it comes to like unauthorized usage of their work.
I got it. And yes, back to the arts, or maybe creation through arts. So social medias is now a critical tool, to promote, and of course you are now using a digital way to promote, to help us promote such a kind of aspect. So how did you see it in Rwanda? How are we using it? How are we pursuing it?
In like digital media, I think specifically looking on like the advertising side, being able to see Ikarenga and the way that they use
It's okay.
Social and digital media to promote their artists, promote their cultural festivals, in a similar way that you see a lot of other galleries do similar work, or other galleries that are also selling artworks of artists. So I think like there is like the question of like the pros and cons of like media in a globalizing world. But I think like one like possibility of it is the ability for like people from all across the world to then like have accessibility to display their art, which I think is a really fascinating thing and really beautiful to see throughout Rwanda.
Wow. By the way, the technology sometimes engaged in, but do you think, or can you see as again maybe disadvantage for the people who is now in rural areas, and yes, they are doing very beautiful arts, they are artists, and yet the technology, yet that globalization media, that ways which can help them. Can you see that is like a disadvantage?
Completely. That would be such like an accessibility issue and a gap in like knowledge, just as like along with what my project is here to digitize artwork, Ikarenga wanted me to do kind of like an awareness campaign related to like knowing artists' rights and copyright when it comes to creating artwork, because I think there is just like the accessibility to like put your work in a gallery, the accessibility to digitalize it, to sell it, and the like resources that you have are just very depending on your geography. So I think that is something really beautiful about this organization, is that they focused not on just Kigali or Musanze, but throughout all of Rwanda.
Wow, that's great. And for this kind of, let's talk about corporate things, and the one you even try to teach them. Actually, do art or artists really have the full copyrights on their intellectual properties? The reason why I'm saying this, in Africa, most of the things we do, it's somehow not yet written somewhere. It's just all about art, and yes, Africa is all about art. But as you saw it, as maybe you're making a research on that, do we have really a real copyright on properties?
I think like before speaking to like the legal,
I know.
I would want to do more research. So I feel like I probably wouldn't want to speak to that, just like the legal side of it. But Mr. Kennedy and I were having a discussion yesterday about like different licensing and how like creation and like just like your copyright to your artwork, and then also having to register it with the Rwandan government or like the but I would like
actually I'm asking this question.
Yeah, I prefer if that isn't.
What is copyright for the artist actually? Because there's someone here outside who really artist, but they don't know copyright. What is copyright?
Copyright is, I guess, like a broad term, it's like you owning the work that you create. You have the ability to distribute it, reproduce it. It is your original work, and you technically own it.
technically own it.
You own it. So then, like, if someone is reproducing it without your consent and making profit off of that, that is what Ikarenga is talking about when it comes to like unauthorized use and piracy.
That's very nice. That's very, because like sometimes you say a copyright and my brothers here on YouTube, you know, we are now, when you say copyright, you can say every visual things. It's all about the copyright, because we take picture from online, maybe using in different ways. You don't know where this picture is already copyrighted or not copyrighted. So I want to ask this: how can you see or get something which is copyrighted so that to prohibit yourself to use that, maybe on social media?
Well, I think the struggle about copyright is it's not just like saying that this is like having the ability to understand that you are entitled to like the rights of your work, but then it's also the enforceability of that. And that's like where the issues of piracy and unauthorized usage come in, where it's like, even if you're aware that these are my rights and this is my artwork and I own this, someone violating that then and you having to understand that that's happened, understand how to go about that, and then have a system that supports that, I think is a struggle throughout the world. And especially with the proliferation of AI and social media and the ability to reproduce original works far easier, I think it is becoming a more prominent issue.
Wow. So it means that sometimes you can incorporate your things, but again, you release some rights for some people usage.
I would say more it's like if like your copyright entitles you to like your specific ownership of this, but then like there would be issues, there's still issues of people like pirating your work and taking it illegally. Yes. And then the ability for people to then get their just compensation from what has been illegally taken from them is a prominent issue that Ikarenga did research on last year. And that's what I'm more looking into this year while I'm here.
And yeah, I'm really enjoying the conversation. How do you see the challenge, or maybe which challenges are we now meeting for that, like artists? Do you think the cooperative things is one of the big challenge?
In Rwanda or in general?
In Rwanda, maybe. Or maybe let's say in general, so that maybe someone from aside can really learn from this.
Well, I think like since this is my first time in Rwanda, I haven't done ground research, so I wouldn't know specifically what the largest issues facing like Rwandan artists are, but I like my guess would be it would depend on geography, like the ability to have a gallery, the like just resources to attain art supplies and then be able to sell the art. But when I came to Ikarenga and they gave me my project, it was based on a UNESCO research project they did last year that looked at like challenges for artists and specifically like where artistic freedom is limited. And for that, copyright was one of the largest issues that came about, which was really interesting because I think on the surface, like, it might not be like what someone would assume would be a most prominent issue, but if the work you're creating that is your livelihood or like is what you're like selling is being taken illegally and you're not making the profit off of that.
Because like this time, yes, you might say that you're now copyrighting your properties, but again, you are limiting your market selling, because okay, one thing, yes, I love copyrights to own your things, but for which ways you want your things to be copyrighted? Because sometimes when you copyright your things, you might be now like closing barriers, setting barriers, which can sometimes for the artist be the barrier, another challenge for the market engine. And yes, if we are not talking about AI, I don't know how can advise us to copyright our things, maybe as an artist, because yes, sometimes we say copyright, then you want to, everything's to restrict. When you use my things, to restrict them. When you use my things, but are you really trying to promote your things? Because if it comes in promotion, I think you need to release some rights for some people so that it can be, maybe, I love the way some copywriters on YouTube, they say it's now sharing copyright. So at least release something instead of, restrict. When you something you strict, because restrict, yes, can be good for your own way, but again, the challenge for the market where you want to promote your things. So I don't know if you have an advice for that.
So specifically what I'm doing here isn't focused on the different types of copyright, as there are like different licenses that you can sell stuff, different ways that work can be reproduced. But what I'm specifically looking at is like digitizing basically large amounts of art from galleries, and then like creating basically a digital catalog and e-commerce website so that artists from different galleries or not part of a gallery can sell their work on an international basis. And Ikarenga is the promoter of this, so in that sense, like all of the profit goes back to the artists, but it's just trying to widen the accessibility of the art to a global audience rather than just being contained in a gallery or not being in a gallery.
So that was all about on copyright, and I think at least you have some insight. But you kept mentioning about the gallery things. I'm now coming to the artists who really maybe use their hands to draw something, to make something. What do you see as it is significant?
I think like the ability for artists to promote themselves and be able to showcase their work. If the ultimate goal is, for Ikarenga, part of the ultimate goal is to be able to help artists make a sustainable living, which is why they have business classes and different copyright classes and different like just skill-based classes. So if the whole reason is for artists to be able to make an income, the ability to showcase your work to a wider audience globally would be an easier way for art to be sold that doesn't have to be just based on art collectors coming to a physical gallery.
What kind of challenge did you maybe see in just few days you have saw that?
I think like there's of course a lot of like ethical parts of this. Like you need to make sure that the artist is completely like consenting to their art being on a website, and that they are giving full credit, that their price is decided, and that's like all based up to them, and that there's like a negotiation between them and Ikarenga, which I'm not a part of. I'm just like doing all the digitalization and like creating the site, but then also the ability for it to be accessible to people that aren't just in galleries and are in places like across Rwanda, so that they could put in their have their work on an online site as well to sell.
Wow. Online. Maybe we are on the end of this podcast, but when it comes online, it's become a lot of challenges. How do you think we can sell online without maybe, avoiding, maybe affecting the copyright things, maybe affecting the online propagations? How do you see that market?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question, especially in the way that it's like, if you're selling visual art, you don't want it to be able to be like copied by AI. So there's different tools you can use to basically like allow like make it so that AI can't copy it. It's really interesting. I was listening to a podcast about it last week.
Thank you.
Relating to more like digital prints, I think that's when like the different types of copyright come in, with your ability to like, okay, if you're gonna buy this print, it's like a reproduction of something, but it's also like that's like a legal form of that. So what we're specifically doing is we're just focusing on visual art. I think in the future, like looking more on like the side of music, and like film would be really interesting, but specifically right now we're just focused on like selling physical products.
Because yes, I was just interested on that, because nowadays you bring an arts on a social media, maybe online, and AI do it on high accuracy and good than your hands. And now we can ask yourself, am I going to compete with AI in creating these visual arts? And of course, as a human, be like, no, I'm no longer going to, to market my things online, because now copyright from AI is, because like AI now is copying everyone without any consent. Because AI doesn't ask us consent not to ask him if it's allowed. And yes, we can still asking ourselves, how are we going now to deal with that? And yes, first of all, we need to sell our products online. And AI is there waiting for us. Bring your things, I copy, I make it better than you. I know it sounds challenge, but how do you think we can overcome this way?
Well, I think it's kind of the question right now that I think like AI is becoming like a larger and larger like resource that people are using and is becoming a larger part of like day-to-day life. But I always think about like something that like my old history teacher said to me. Not to me, but to our like class. Yeah. And she was saying that like when we're doing all of these readings and we're supposed to understand like the nuances of humanity, that if you were to like type in to AI, like create a hand, like the hand that would come out from AI would be like really warped and funny. Like she was like, sometimes it'll have like 6 fingers, or it'll be like different shapes. And she was like, it's because like hands come in all different forms, and it's like in all different shapes and forms in different positions. So anytime I kind of think about like AI, and like especially when it comes to like art, is that like there's a lot of like imperfection that creates perfection in art, and there's a lot of beauty in the humanity and like the artistic like style that I think like that like AI like is just a different form of art. Not that it isn't useful, and not that it isn't like a threat in some sense to like current artists, but I do think in like the way that like art is viewed, I would still always say that like an artist, like a physical art piece created by an artist, still has a lot of value.
It sounds like now you're making us think that we don't have to worry about AI.
I don't know if I would say that. I would just say that like I think like we still have like I
still have the nature of
I think there is still like I still think humanity like I think the way that AI is viewed and the way that like changes and its proliferation is going to shape our future is very prominent, especially as it evolves and becomes more reliable. But I do think right now deferring all of our skills to AI doesn't have to be one or the other, but the humanity of art itself, I think AI, I would say, cannot compete
with us. Actually, maybe another observation we can have here is before we think about AI, let's its observations with its artificial intelligence. So it's made by us. So whatever it can be doing, it's the information, the data, the big data is being like introduced. It all comes from us. So I think whatever it can be doing, it can be more and more perfect than us. So means that for the artist, you should really maximize your art so that you can compete with AI. Because when we bring the smaller things, I like you're out of AI. But I think the good thing is just perfect your things, and after all, we will see. Actually, the average of AI, it's not 100% for the eyes of human. So let's breathe in that. And after all, I want to appreciate McBride for really, I love the name, by the way.
Thank you.
For really coming up with this podcast. And maybe Daily Tech, please let us know. What are you expecting from Ikirenga and even from your research project?
I think like from Ikirenga, I have made incredible friends. Like you'll interview the other 4 interns. They're all so incredible women, so kind, so amazing to be around, so welcoming. I mean, like Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Pierre have made like been here for 2 weeks. I feel very at home.
Wow.
They've welcomed me, and I feel like very honored to be able to be part of this project and working. And I hope to come back and continue working with them.
Wow.
But
so how did you welcome or see the iSmart house, the studio?
It's so cool. I have never been in a podcast studio before or done a podcast. So this is a first for me, and it's like, it's really cool.
It's really cool. If you can recommend someone to come here, which 2 things you can say? I mean, you can tell him. If you enter at iSmart House, you find those 2 things. Which can be that?
I would probably say like you mean like kind of 2 things I would recommend about.
Yes.
Okay. I guess firstly, like how kind and friendly everyone is here. I mean, I've never done this before. Everyone's very welcoming.
Yeah.
And
thank
then
you.
2, just like I feel like everything feels very accessible, and like the conversation felt very like easy in a sense that I wasn't like super nervous to be
I know.
like sitting and like being recorded asking questions. But I feel like you said, I feel like at the beginning when we were talking about like when you do podcasts with people, like what does that podcast mean to them? I feel like it's asking like the good questions to get like meaningful content. So I feel like that's what I would recommend about like iSmart House, the fact that it's like searching for like intellectual and educational and like deep conversations content wise.
Wow. Thank you for the amazing input, and of course it's always beautiful. Remember, this podcast is produced by iSmart House, but now of course powered by Ikirenga Art and Culture Promotion. Of course we are promoting arts, tourism, culture based in different aspects. And yes, if you really want to know about arts, culture, tourism to be promoted, please, iSmart House is your best way on the podcast. But also Ikirenga here to help us, to reach everywhere. And of course, Dabby, thank you so much for coming to the podcast, and it's a huge welcome every day. And of course, the time you be traveling alone, please enjoy the city. The city. Go across the Rwanda, Musanze. Have you joined the volcanoes park?
I'm going this weekend.
This weekend, I'm telling you, it's gonna be a Voma. It's a more and more excitement. And of course, we'll be traveling to Akagera. We have Akagera National Park. It's a good one, 5 main stars, and we have Nyungwe for the canopy. I know you'll be traveling there, maybe inshallah soon. And go and enjoy the sunset for Kivu. Do you know Lake Kivu? Did you hear about that?
I'm going next week.
Next weekend, yeah. So go and enjoy that sunset, and feel the Rwanda, the green. We call it a green city and 1,000 hills.
Yes.
Do you know why we call it that 1,000 hills?
Because there's a lot of hills.
Exactly. You'll be like, when you go, you'll be like, I'm going to the Everest. It's not the American Everest, the Nigerian Everest. So, thank you. It's Tex Fair podcast. We talk about technology through arts, technology, business, and of course, heritage. Maybe next time we'll be talking about the next topics. My name is Ismail Papi Muhinda. Welcome to iSmart House. Welcome to the best podcast agency in Rwanda. See you. Africa is rising. The world is watching. Technology is changing the way we create, explore, and do businesses. From AI-driven arts to the virtual tourism, from culture NFTs to digital entrepreneurship, Africa is not behind. Africa is leading. And of course, here we are to talk about it. Welcome to the Tex Fair podcast, the place where tech meets art, tourism, culture, and business. Join the conversation, join the revolution, join us. This is for Africa, and here we are. Let's make it happen again.